Today, I'm going to show you something more technical. We have developed our own API, so you can now start to create events and allow your guests automatically via an API. And how can you do that? The first thing is that you can connect on your cockpit. Wherever you are, you go to your avatar, because this is linked to your own account, and then you have these new entry here, API keys. So you can open it and you can see what we have in terms of APIs. We have two APIs. We have one that allows you to create a new event. So if you click, you can see the description of this API and how to use it. We have this endpoint that you can copy. In order to call any Veertly API, you need to authorize via your API keys, that I'll explain you in a minute how this works. And here you can see what are the parameters that are needed for each one of these two APIs. So in order to create an event, you can specify the ID of your event, which is used on URL. And if you don't add, and if this value is null, a random ID will be generated for your event. The only three fields that are required are the title of the event, so that there's a name, the begin date of the event, which is the time in milliseconds of the start date and time of your event, and the end date of the event, which is also the time in milliseconds since the epoch time that you for the end date and time of your event. And then we have other optional parameters, as you have also when you create your own event using the UI. How many minutes the event will be open before the official start date, and how much time or many minutes this will be open until afterwards the end date of the event. Then you can also set what is the URL of the video call server used for this event. If you have your own GT deployment, you can use your own servers. And then you can also specify if you want this event to be guest list only accessed or not. By default, it's false, so meaning that you create an event and the event will be open for everybody, but you can set this value to true, so only the participants that are specifically allowed as guests can enter into the event. As return, you're gonna have a result saying that was always okay, and more important, you have the link of your event, which is a combination of the endpoints that you are running and the ID of the event. It's important to mention that this API is not completely accessible by default for everybody, because we don't want to open it freely. So we are more than happy to give you access to this API. Just click there and start chatting either me and Alex, and we will give you access in a minute to your own API key. The second endpoint that we have is, once you have an event that it's created, how it's to automate the submission of new guests. For example, imagine that you have Eventbrite to manage all your events, so you could make an automation from Eventbrite to Veertly to automatically add the guests that have purchased tickets on your Eventbrite page into Veertly directly. So for that, you could use the allow guests in event. This API is completely accessible for anyone, so you just need to be connected. You just need to generate an API key and everybody can use it. In terms of parameters, you need to know what is the session ID of the event. We are going to add this new guest, the first name of the guest, his last name, his email, so the email is required, similar to what you have on the guest list access. You also need to provide the email for the users, and then you can specify which roles and tags are associated with this user. As a result, you will receive his unique access link so that you can use and share this with the participant immediately if you want. When you call this API, the guest will be automatically allowed in the event, so there's no manual authorization that's needed on the cockpit. So let's show how this works. I've already created one API key here, but I can create a new one. In order to create it, you just generate a new key. You give it a name, demo key, and the key is now being generated on our side. We'll generate it randomly, and it will be unique for you. So it's important to note that this is the only time that the key is available. So the key is not stored anywhere in our system, and it's the only time that you can get a copy of your key. If you close it without getting it, you need to generate a new one. So you copy the API key, you confirm that you save it, and the key is there. And we have an ID of each key, and you can also revoke the access of that key. If you click revoke, the key will no longer be used, and if any call to this key will not be accepted by the system. So let me show you with my previous key how does this work. So let's start with the create event API. So you have here the endpoint, as I mentioned on the description. On the authorization, you can put your own API key, and then you have the demo event, the title of the event, all the parameters for your own event that you can specify. So let's create a new event. The event is created. So let me open it, and you will see that the page is there and you can access it. This one has already finished because the date was not correct. So let me review that. It's important. It's in milliseconds, not in seconds. So let me just create the second one. Now the event is available and you can join it and you can enter immediately because the dates are for this moment. You are in the event. So now let's show the other API key, the other API endpoint that we have. The allow guest in event. So to the allow guest in event, you can define the parameters of the guest that you are adding, what are his roles and tags, and they will be automatically they will be automatically assigned the same way as the guest list feature that we have. So you simply call it and you receive as a result the own access link to this user. So I'll copy and open in a new incognito window so that you can see that the user will be automatically connected to the event. Now you are inside the event and you can see that the new participant that has been added, myself, has been assigned as a host, and this was the previous connected user that I had. I really hope that you enjoy these two new APIs that we have, and we are really looking forward to see how we are going to integrate within your systems. And if you need any other API, if you'd like to have any other automation, feel free to contact us. Just chat with us inside the cockpit, send us an email. We are really happy to support you in this optimization of your own event.